Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down a really powerful machine learning technique. It's one that can take total data chaos, make it crystal clear, and then, and this is the amazing part, fit the whole thing onto a tiny little computer chip. So, let's jump right in. We're just drowning in data these days, right? From all our sensors to medical scans, we're collecting more and more information with more and more features. But that actually creates a huge problem. See, the more features you have, the harder it gets to find the signal in all that noise. It's kind of like trying to spot one specific person in a crowd that just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
And this problem, it actually has a name in machine learning. It's called the curse of dimensionality. And it's not just about things getting slower. High-dimensional data can actually make your predictive models worse. Yeah, it degrades their performance, makes them harder to understand. It's a huge, huge hurdle in data science today.
So how in the world do we fight back against this curse? How do we make our data manageable again? Well, the solution lies in a whole set of techniques designed to do one thing: simplify.
And the hero of our story today is a family of algorithms called dimensionality reduction. The whole goal here is just so elegant. You want to simplify your data by cutting down the number of features, but, and this is the absolute key, you can't lose the crucial information that actually defines it. Think of it like creating the perfect one-page summary of a really, really long book. But, not all summaries are created equal. And one of the most powerful techniques out there is a supervised method called Linear Discriminant Analysis, or LDA for short, and that's going to be the star of our show today.
Okay, so here's where things get really interesting. You've got unsupervised methods, right? They just look for the biggest spread in the data. They don't care what the data points are. But LDA is supervised. That means it uses the class labels. Is this a cat? Is this a dog? Is this a bird? To intelligently find a new perspective, a new angle that best separates those groups we already know about. This is what makes it so incredibly powerful for classification problems.
So how does LDA actually pull off this magic trick? Well, its core logic is actually super intuitive. It's all about separating groups and squeezing clusters.
LDA's whole mission is this brilliant two-part balancing act. First, you want to maximize the separation between the groups, so push their centers as far apart as possible. And at the exact same time, you want to minimize the spread within each group. Squeeze those data points inside each category as tightly together as you can. See? Separate the groups, squeeze the clusters. And this illustrates the idea perfectly. Look at the red and blue dots. Those are our two classes. If you project them onto that V2 line, they're just a jumbled, overlapping mess. You can't tell them apart. But if you find that optimal line, that V1 projection, boom, you get two totally distinct clusters. LDA is basically the mathematical process that finds that one perfect angle. Now, this intuitive idea of separating and squeezing, that's exactly what the legendary statistician Sir Ronald A. Fisher formalized with math. He created what's known as Fisher's criterion. That ratio you see here, that is the mathematical engine that drives the entire LDA process. It's always searching for that perfect balance, maximum separation between the classes, minimum spread within them.
Okay, so that's enough theory. Let's see this thing in action. We're going to walk through a classic real-world example using Python.
For this, we're going to use the super famous iris dataset. It's honestly the perfect test case for LDA. We've got data for 150 flowers, and they belong to 3 different species. And for each flower, we have 4 measurements, 4 features like petal length and sepal width. Our goal? Use those 4 features to tell the 3 species apart.
Now, with just a few lines of Python, using a really popular library called scikit-learn, we can do something pretty remarkable. We take our 4-dimensional data and we train an LDA model. We're basically asking it to find the best possible 2-dimensional view, the best 2D projection that separates our 3 flower classes.
And check out the result. It is stunning. What was once this overlapping mess of 4 different measurements is now a clean 2D plot with 3 beautiful, distinct clusters. I mean, look at that. The dark blue setosa flowers are completely on their own, and the versicolor and virginica are also clearly separated. All of a sudden, telling them apart just became incredibly easy.
But wait, the story doesn't end on a laptop. This is where it gets really, really exciting. We're going to take our code, convert it for a microcontroller, and enter the world of TinyML. That means running machine learning on tiny, low-power devices. We're about to take this intelligence into the physical world.
And the process to get this onto an embedded device is actually surprisingly straightforward. First, you train the model in Python, just like we did.
Then you use a script to automatically convert that trained model, basically its brain, into super optimized C++ code. And finally, you can load that code directly onto a tiny, low-power microcontroller.
And this is what it looks like. This generated C++ function, predictLDA, is the essence of our model. It boils down the entire brain, all the weights and biases it learned during training, into simple multiplication and addition. There are no heavy libraries, just pure math. That's what makes it absolutely perfect for hardware that doesn't have a lot of resources.
And here it is, the grand finale. This is a simulation of our code running on an ESP32 microcontroller. It's taking in new sensor readings for a flower, and right there, in real time, it's correctly predicting which species it belongs to. We've done it. We've successfully taken a pretty sophisticated machine learning algorithm from a data set on a computer all the way to a functioning, intelligent device that could run on a tiny battery.
So the big takeaway here is this. LDA isn't just some abstract algorithm in a textbook. It's a really practical and powerful tool for building smart, efficient devices. It lets us distill all this complex, high-dimensional data into simple, actionable intelligence, right where we need it, at the edge. And that just leaves us with a fascinating question, right? If we can do this for flowers, what's next? What could we do for wearables, for agriculture, or for monitoring our environment? The possibilities, they're literally